I'm David Fetter, Executive Editor Technical for Prepared Foods Media, and welcome to a Prepared Foods series on technical trends in new product development. Today, we are looking at trends in pasta and all things noodles with Ann Contos, Senior Product Development Manager, and Yury Krasilovsky. Did I get that right?
Just Yury Krasilovsky.
Yury Krasilovsky. He's Executive Chef of Foodservice R&D, and they are with Barilla Americas. They're makers of pastas, pestos, and sauces going all the way back to 1877. Well, not Yury and Ann. They're not that old, but Barilla's been doing it. So, hi, Ann, Yury. Thank you all so much for joining us today.
No, we're happy to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Great. So, let me jump right in. Pasta is an intercontinental comfort food that just transcends its strong associations with Italian cuisines. Yet the gluten-free trend, coupled with the huge explosion in popularity of Asian cuisines with rice, yam, and mung bean noodles, they converge to open the gates on a flood of non-farinaceous pastas. And these have ranged from pastas made with other grains than wheat to legume pastas. And now we're even seeing envelope pushing pastas from broccoli, carrot, and cauliflower sources. What do you guys think accounts for the perennial popularity of noodles, and where's it all headed?
Yeah, so the global popularity of pasta is actually pretty amazing. So here in the US, about 85% of consumers say that they like or love it. And just for a little bit of context, that's kind of cheeseburger and chocolate chip cookie territory. So it's really popular with all ages and demographics, pretty much across the board. And that enduring popularity, I think, is a combination of the ease of preparation, affordability, as well as its roots of a comfort food, basically no matter where you're from. So versatility counts too. So you have a chef that can prepare something creative and craveable, a home cook that can spit it into a family favorite, generations in the making. And then there's nostalgia in there too. So we like to say that pasta is a blank canvas, ready for people to kind of add their own creativity, personality, culture. And then you kind of add it all up in there and you get the reason why cacio e pepe or feta pasta, pastina, it's all kind of had their viral moments in the last few years.
It's funny you talk about the blank canvas, because in my chef days, that's exactly what I'd tell the folks under me. I'd say, think of pasta as a blank canvas. Now be creative. So
yeah, it's really endless possibilities for the most part. So, but whereas pasta is going, the floodgates, I think, have been opened, and people are really curious to explore pasta made from alternative ingredients. So there's a lot of room for innovation, right? So if you think back, like, would you really have expected to see pasta made from hearts of palm or chickpeas, lentils, cauliflower, edamame, just within the last couple of years, right?
That's true. Yep. So Yury, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, from a food service standpoint, back of the house efficiencies are, really very important. They're a pain point. Customers are looking for help. And within the last couple of years, we've debuted our pre-cooked IQF pasta. We created the lasagna chef no boil sheet that's meant to go into hotel pans. So you would use 2 in a hotel pan and then just layer with sauce and your other ingredients and then bake. So that's a really good product and doesn't require any pre-cooking in advance. Some segments like college and university and healthcare are very concerned about allergens and looking for clean labels. Every university wants to make sure there are no allergens and have plant-based protein and gluten-free options, just like you like. Yep. These are all useful guide points to tell you where the category may be heading.
So, well, what specific influences drive your choices, both of you, when it comes to embarking on a new product for development in pasta?
Yeah, from my standpoint, more than anything, we listen to what our consumers are looking for at retail and searching for online. Our marketing and insights team help us kind of keep our finger on the pulse of the American shoppers and what's happening in social media and culture. There are a lot of exciting things that happen in food service with applications for pasta outside of Italian. The trend for Itameshi, where Japanese ingredients and techniques are applied to an Italian pasta platform, is very interesting. Not to mention delicious. One of my favorite dishes I made this year was actually a very Italian, Asian umami bomb type application. So it was butter, a ton of garlic, oyster sauce, soy, and Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, finished with a little scallions. And honestly speaking, the dish kind of comes together like you'd be making a cacio e pepe. So it was truly a flavor and umami bomb. Pasta culturally is taking on more global flavor applications, which just keeps our category relevant and exciting for the next generation.
I can see that. It's funny, we talk about the fusion, even back years ago, just for home. If I wanted to make like a pad thai or something, and it was spur of the moment, and I only had a box of Barilla, that's what I would use. And, it came off, like you said, perfectly. So, Ann, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, I think we always have to have an eye on emerging technology and startups outside of our sector as well. That way we can identify different innovations that we might be able to apply. So if you think like 3D printing is a really good example of one that we've used. So we kind of took that technology and then tested and adapted it specifically for pasta making. Right now it has more of a specialized application, but it does really deliver on the ultimate in pasta customization. You can make kind of whatever you can dream to some extent. So a little bit further out, some of the technologies using alternative proteins is worth watching. I think it'll be exciting to see what we can come up with. Another one that I think that is really cool is the use of AI for product development. So just thinking it's super interesting, so powerful, all of the information that exists out there, like what can we do with it? So I'm really looking forward to seeing how we can apply that to different scenarios.
That AI it does seem to be just like a fascinating opportunity to really get hyper specific on consumer needs, interests. I too, I agree with you. Let's see where that's going in the future. Now, for both of you, how do ingredient suppliers influence the process of creating new pasta products, or even reformulating those that are already in the Barilla portfolio?
Yeah, so one of the benefits of being the world leader in the category, and we've been making pasta for more than 145 years, we sit on an absolute mountain of data about pasta food science. So we've learned a lot about what ingredients and attributes impact the outcome of pasta and kind of how we can manipulate them in the way that we want things to go. So since pasta is really such a simple product, really mostly it's just one ingredient that you see on the label, we have to find the best possible raw materials to work with in order to figure out how we can accomplish what we want. So for our legume pastas, for example, we don't use just any commodity commonly available lentil or chickpea flour. What we do is we take all of our knowledge and expertise and we look for specific attributes or characteristics that aren't part of the typical sort of off-the-shelf specs or offering. And then we push our suppliers to meet those standards that we've set for them. So our best suppliers, I think, are really the ones that work with us to help meet those high standards and then step up to the challenges that we bring them.
I think I'm going to put in an editorial comment here, because we do use gluten-free Barilla and have for years. And one of the things that's impressed me is that your gluten-free products have the same ingredients as virtually every other gluten-free Italian style pasta, and yet the texture is spot on perfect with a durum semolina pasta. And I've always been curious, how do you accomplish that where so many others have not quite met the bar? And you've just said it's finding more specified ingredients that are perfect for your needs. I'm impressed. I'm an N of one, but I'm impressed.
We'll take it. Thank you.
So what would you say has been the greatest development in pastas just within the past few years, and what influence has it had on you guys and the rest of the product development team?
I think we tend to get excited when consumer trends line up with the values we have as a company. So for instance, plant-based eating, high quality ingredients, those are trends that our company has really kind of built itself on, that we're really passionate about. So the interest in better for you pastas has really brought about a lot of innovation and pushed our category and our team to find, for example, gluten-free, high protein, simple ingredients that can be turned into great pastas. So we're really proud of our legume pastas. Developing a high performing pasta with just one ingredient on the label was a real achievement. So with our process and the right ingredient, we really just kind of need the chickpea flour, the lentil flour to make that come to life.
Yury, what can you tell us? Go ahead. Sorry.
What I was going to say is that, we tend to not really ever be first to market, but whenever we do get to market with our innovations, it tends to be with the highest quality, with the highest standards, and the best product that, we as Barilla, and more importantly, the family stands behind. So we prefer to take our time to get it right rather than rush, to the market. So it's all about having that, as you alluded, that perfect product that we really believe in.
I think that's a good approach for a company that has such great name recognition, and you can afford to be that little bit more. I don't want to say cautious, a little bit more focused on the end game, if you will. What do you guys think the next big trend-setting noodle and pasta ingredient is going to be made of? Duckweed, crabgrass seeds, rye. Are there rye pastas or pastas from barley or oats? I don't think I've seen those.
So actually there are pastas with barley, including one that we make.
Oh.
So our Barilla Protein Plus actually has both barley and spelt in the formulation. So those kind of, in addition to adding protein, we get some multigrain, some whole grain, some fiber. And I think that pasta is a really great example of an offering that's plant-based protein, but in a very familiar, comfortable package, right? So the taste and texture are just like traditional wheat pasta. And so that really helps people get what they need from both perspectives, from nutrition and from kind of that expectation, taste, texture. We have done some actual pasta in the past with some oats, but sometimes that gets a little bit tricky because if it's not at the right level, it tends to get a bit starchy, and you can kind of lose that al dente bite. It kind of turns into a pasty and chewy consistency. But again, it's kind of all about the right balance of things.
Yury?
Yeah, I mean, as far as rye goes, the biggest challenge is that it has such an assertive flavor profile. It might be amazing for a particular dish at a restaurant, maybe like a rye cavatappi or something like that with a lamb ragu, for instance. That could be really interesting. But it's not neutral enough for that everyday family meal. Pastas for retail have to pair up with a wide array of typical sauces, from marinara, pesto to Alfredo, without a polarizing result, of course. For pasta makers like us, thinking holistically about our pasta to how it will be used is critical. That's one of the most critical steps in the process.
That's true. And maybe rye is just best left for the distilleries. So it is a very assertive grain.
Not to say we won't get there. Who knows?
Yeah. And
yeah, and I think you mentioned duckweed or crabgrass seeds. We're always exploring new ingredients, looking for ways to improve our pasta products. So I guess you never know. There's a lot of, I think, potential in ancient grains, especially thinking about gluten-free, root vegetables, other grain-free ingredients. These days, we're really just looking at ingredients that can be made into a great pasta, which also brings great protein into the mix as well.
So I think you guys are going to have me move out of my comfort zone and try different types of your pastas. So, yeah. I've done where I go to reach for something new and I'm like, nah, I know what I like, but I'll have to be a little bit more daring, right? More adventurous.
Absolutely. Why not? I was going to add that, the key is to uncover those ingredients that can truly deliver the qualities that make pasta so special and so loved. The texture, the shape, the ease of preparation. Going back to that endearing popularity, pasta is a comfort food, first and foremost. It's approachable and it's a favorite across pretty much all demographics, ages, backgrounds, and it can excel at a fine dining restaurant as well as on a family table on a Tuesday night. If you lose sight of those attributes, you can lose your way in our world of research and development really quickly.
I believe that, as a pasta once a week family, I'm right on board with that. So great. To close us out, I'm going to give you all a little challenge. Take me on a detailed tour of a supermarket's pasta product aisle in the year 2030. Not as far away as we think.
I know. But I think, even in 2030, the pasta aisle will probably still have a pretty solid offering of traditional wheat pasta. I think it's often forgotten kind of in the buzz and excitement of innovation. But a really good durum semolina pasta is a global favorite for a reason, right? It's been around for a long time and it really drives the category. Personally, I think the alternative protein pasta category will also grow. Especially as animal proteins continue to get more expensive and consumer interest in sustainability and health goes up as well. If the spike in innovation we're seeing now continues, we may find more ingredients from other cultures in the pasta aisle. So think like a green banana with a trendy ingredient like a hint of yuzu, maybe. Or it could be pasta made with a health-focused ingredients, pasta that just kind of looks really cool, maybe with some colored by brightly colored natural veggies. People like to put those on Instagram. Or it could be something a bit closer in. So sometimes people are just interested in new fun shapes for a bit of variety. One that comes to mind, we recently produced a heart-shaped pasta as a limited time Valentine's Day giveaway, and that was really successful.
Wow. So I think there's the AI and the 3D printing thing you mentioned as well. I can somehow see like M&Ms did with customized M&Ms. People will be able to order a pasta, in the shape of Grandpa's head or something like that.
You never know, yeah.
Yeah, Yury?
Might be more challenging in that case, but you never know.
So your take on 2030 supermarket? What we'll see.
I mean, for me, the supermarket aisle is very different being in food service. So, probably it'll take, to follow, it'll follow retail's lead for the most part. But, with the emphasis on the ease of preparation, value added products, restaurants are always looking for ways to differentiate their competition. So I do expect some brands to find ways to offer unique cuts and shapes, even if it's only for limited periods of time, just like we did with the heart-shaped pasta.
Yeah, that's what I used to do in my chef days. I loved the, like the, what is it, quadrelli, the four-sided tube, and just any various odd shapes that I could get out of Italy. We're talking 40 years ago that I was doing this, and it did. You could have the same sauce, and just the shape of the pasta would be such a great marketing point. Yeah. So this all sounds, just wonderful. Pasta is exciting. I guess you can tell I'm a bit biased when it comes to pasta. I just, it's always been a big turn to. I do love it. Unfortunately, though, we're out of time. I want to thank you guys for sharing your expertise and insight with us today. It was just really enlightening and a little challenging to me. I'm going to have to get out there and be adventurous, but I want to have you guys back sometime, together or separate. This has really been interesting. So I also want to thank our audience members for joining us. I hope this inside view of one of our favorite foods was as fascinating for you guys as it was for me. I'm David Fetter, Executive Editor Technical for Prepared Foods Media, and we were talking with Ann Contos, Senior Product Development Manager, and Yury Krasilovsky, Executive Chef for Foodservice and R&D for Barilla America, Inc. So till next time, thanks.